Shalom, balance, paradise, righteousness, all. We are back up in the lab, and I have a special guest with me again, and I'm bringing some feminine energy one more again. I have
You
with
have
me,
to.
yes, most definitely. We got to mix it up. We got to mix it up, and I have with me the legendary
That's all.
Rylee Rabbit,
Ooh,
world
ooh.
renowned former adult entertainer, influencer, model, and creator and host of Down the Rabbit Hole podcast and show.
Yes, sir.
Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
You're very much welcome. You're very much welcome. We got it, we did it, and we're here now.
Yeah, we actually got it in early. We were supposed to.
Exactly.
It worked out.
Yes,
Somebody else
definitely.
dropped the ball, so
Yeah,
here I am.
yes, and I won't mention any names, but yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. So, firstly, thank you very much for accepting the call and lining this up so quickly.
Of course.
We are going to go into the DeLorean and we're going to go back in time, mademoiselle.
Well, let's do it. Let's go to the beginning.
Yes. So, where did Rylee grow up? Where did we grow up? What state?
I'm originally from San Diego, California. I'm a Cali girl. Like when the Beatles were singing, they were talking about me. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, but I am from San Diego, California. I was born and raised there. I lived there most of my life until my 30s. Actually, I did a little bit of college in Arizona. I went to ASU for like half a semester. I hated traditional college.
What do you mean by that?
I'm just, I don't know. I feel like I learned more doing and living life than I ever did like sitting in a classroom and being taught. You know, like
yes.
I make more money than most of the people who actually, and not to knock any kind of university or school. Everyone learns different. Everyone, grinds different. So for me, I just realized like I'm a doer and I'd like to get stuff done. I like to hustle. I'm an entrepreneur and I don't want to be restrained to people's ideas. You know what I mean? If there's something I want to know, I'm going to go figure out the research and learn it on my own. I don't need someone to tell me how I'm supposed to line my ducks up. So
yes.
I got out of traditional college. Total, I did 2.5 years with like some community college. And then I went to the university and then I was like, I'm done. I can't do it. Same thing with my job. I actually was trained as a like corporate salesperson. I worked for a wireless company for a very long time.
Was that business to business or business to consumer?
Both. I did retail. I tried the business. It was just like, it was too tedious. There's a lot of dry calls and
yes.
I'm a very like person in person. Like I do better when I'm dealing with people. So switch out of that. I actually was like an inventory specialist, operations specialist. I was customer service. Like I did it all. Like I was pretty much like all the way involved. I hated that too. And then I just realized like corporate America isn't for me either. So 27 years old, I just said fuck it to everything and got into adult entertainment.
Okay. So you clearly had a varied sort of career path, but it's been, as you say, quite structured in a very structured way. And as you've highlighted, you thrive in the touch, taste, and feel reality zone versus that structured, let's put you in this box.
For sure.
Let's go down this strategic path. And yeah.
It's not for me. I tried it. I'm good at it. I just don't like it. You know what I mean? I can make it work. That's what pissed everyone off so much because they're like, what are you doing? You're so good at this. And I'm like, I hate my life. I don't want to be here.
Yeah. And also doing what you're doing. I mean, that is it's very different from, being in the corporate world within sales, as in selling intangible objects, sometimes tangible objects, to then, doing something which is very, very different like that.
But you'd be surprised how much those skills have made me very successful in what I do. Because selling is selling, no matter what you're selling, you know, and being able to market yourself and position yourself and never like dealing with no's and understanding that no's are a natural response to most people. Like they say like something like 70 to 80% of every child's first word is actually no. Like you have to understand, like, so you can't take no as like as a direct, like, no, I'm not dealing with you. Sometimes it's circumstance, sometimes it's time, sometimes it's they don't like the way my nose is shaped. Whatever it is, you know, like no is not an answer for me. So, but I learned that in sales training, and I learned that like in the corporate world, how to like understand why people are saying no and understand that it's an immediate response. That sometimes don't even think before they say it. So you can't let that be a final answer. And I wouldn't have been so good at what I do now if I like just took no's as answers.
You hit upon some very key points there. Training and being within the sales environment and having good sales training, which includes a little bit of psychology, some customer service, those skills are so invaluable and so transferable. So I can totally understand exactly what you're saying, and how you've been able to sort of maximize what you've learned and then translate that into what you're doing now. Into a
different world.
Yeah.
And the other thing is like I feel so bad for the people, like the generation right behind me, because they don't get those skills. Like they don't know how to have a conversation with anybody, and it's really sad. And it's like, you guys don't understand how valuable it is to be able to, like, even if you're not a good sociable person, but just being able to hold a conversation, like it's I don't feel bad for the generation behind us, man. Like they got some work to do.
And never mind the generation behind us. What about this generation? I mean, like they're grunting almost. It's like the children are devoluting these days.
They're just, I mean, they're sales products. Like people don't realize that they are no longer in control of themselves, and that everything that they do is just, they're just information for somebody to sell something to. And they don't need you to talk. They just need you to watch.
Yes.
So when you become like you're just a barcode anymore, you don't have control over it. And that's when I left corporate world. So I'm like, I'm not going to be a barcode. Like, fuck you. I'm going to be somebody selling and not somebody who is constantly being consumed to. So I think that, I don't know. But I mean, we all need lambs, right? Like you can't, everyone needs people.
Definitely, yes. I
but
mean,
you rock being a lamb. If you're gonna be a lamb, just be the best lamb you can
own
be.
Own it, as y'all say, own it there, innit?
Own it. But yeah, no, I love it though. I mean, I've loved all parts of my life. I loved being in school, but then I was like, I'm done. I'm tapped out. I love being in the corporate world. I've done a lot of stuff. I've done some holistic studies. I went to school for massage therapy because I thought I was like gonna go that way.
Yeah.
Like all holistic and.
Have you looked at the which is very trendy these days, is the vegan lifestyle?
I never went vegan. I was pescatarian for a while, but not because, for people who don't know what that is, I only ate fish.
Fish, yes.
Not necessarily because I really gave a shit what the trend was, but more just because a lot of the food was making me sick. I know, like when I eat red meat or pork, I get really sick. I've always had eating problems.
Okay.
And I've always had like issues with my gut in general, and I was like trying to figure out what it was that was. And when I go pescatarian, I usually have no problems. So
did the doctors identify anything specific with your gut flora potentially?
Actually, yeah, I've never actually talked about this. I actually have a very random, odd syndrome. It's called gastro-dumping syndrome. It's a eating disorder, but it's not like anorexia. Like people are like, eating disorder? Oh, you starve yourself. I'm like, no, it's not true. But so gastro-dumping syndrome is basically my body metabolizes food at a different rate.
Yes.
And I go into the glucose phase faster than most people. So like where most people digest for like a half hour to an hour, they get all their nutrients and vitamins. Then they go into the storing fat glucose phase, and then it goes into like a dumping phase. I pretty much go into that glucose phase after like 5 minutes eating.
Wow.
And so that's why I have to be very careful about what I eat, because I could really get big fast if I'm not careful. Like this little bagel I just ate, I won't have another bagel for like 2 months. Like I can't, because it's not like I care. Like I'm like, I don't give a shit. I make more money the thicker I am anyways. Like people like me. I'm in this niche of curvy natural women. People love it. I'm not gonna hide it. It is who I am. But I also have to be healthy.
Yes,
So
health is wealth.
Yeah, and people automatically think just because you're skinny that you're healthy, and that's actually not true. I know a lot of people who are probably going to be on dialysis at the end of their lives because they eat like shit, but their metabolism's high. You know what I mean? So it's such a balance, and so I struggled with that through college because I didn't do well with caffeine, and I was just kind of just like eating sugar to stay awake. You know what I mean? And like I was like in school, I was like literally passing out. Like my body goes into like this sugar spikes, and then my body gets
Crashes.
I was crashing
Yeah.
all the time. Like I was in the middle of lecture, and my teacher was like, "You look like you're gonna fall out of your seat, but then you'd be engaged in 5 seconds." And I'm like, "What?" I didn't even realize what was happening. So I had to figure out what was happening, and that's what it was. It was this like very rare. It usually only happens to people after they have gastro surgery. But there's like a rare like 2 to 5% of people who actually are born with it. And I'm just one of those random people dumping syndrome.
Yes, so you've got to be, as you say, very meticulous with your dietary habits.
Yeah, I had to cut out a lot of dairy. I can only do good carbs in like doses. I pretty much cut all red meat and pork out. I do chicken because I can't stop eating chicken wings.
Any particular brands, or you got your own recipe going?
Oh, I make my own wings at home.
Yeah.
But no, it doesn't matter. I just love wings. But they're really bad for you. They're so mass produced. They're probably the worst thing I could eat.
Are we talking
chickens running around?
Are we talking those big huge buffalo wings, or just normal
I like
wings?
the little buffalo wings. The little but when they're big, it's like they're just loaded with freaking nastiness.
Oh, I mean, just think. Let's put the old.
I know one of my friends broke this down for me. Are you gonna break it down for me?
I'm gonna do a.
I know it.
They are fed a lot of steroids.
Absolutely.
Huge amounts of steroids, and that enables them to gain weight quicker, muscle quicker, mass. And what it does, they give them something else. I don't know what the chemical is, but they basically mature double the rate they used to do 20 years back.
I know, and it's so disgusting. It's so disgusting. That's why when I cook at home, and when I get chicken, I usually try to go to a butcher instead of going to a grocery store, because the grocery stores are all like, if you do a butcher, they come from the farm. They come from a farmer. They're just pickier about their meat.
Indeed.
But yeah, it's bad. It's terrible. Chicken's the worst. It's probably worse than beef. But if my body could process beef, I'd probably eat it. But
look at beef. Unfortunately, Rylee.
All of it's gross.
Rylee.
It's all gross, but it's delicious.
Look, it's unfortunately due to farming becoming industrialized. We don't have your local, as y'all say, mom and pops like farmers. They're few and far between, and those animals.
Are you guys getting that bad over there as we are?
Yeah.
Because I know. Oh, okay.
Yes. It's very, very bad. Well, it's technically we're not really eating food. There's so much chemicals in these poor animals.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I won't go to.
Like, I had to take in consideration because I'm an energy person, and you mentioned my ankh earlier. I'm a big like energy person, and I know, like I said, the wings are my guilty pleasure, but I'm a big energy person, and I've watched a lot of these documentaries on like how the animals are treated and all this crap, and it's like I just can't imagine, like, if you think about how you feel in the most worst situation, like you're having a shitty day, right? Yes. And then think about somebody's abusing you on top of that. Like let's think about like a broken, beaten down housewife that has a horrible husband that beats the crap out of her, right?
Yeah.
You can think about all the hormones and all the depression and all the things that are in her body at that moment, right? Yes. Like, would you want to cut her up and eat her? Like the energy that you're eating when
Yes.
an animal is being abused to that level, and now you're taking in all those hormones, all these things that they shouldn't be feeling and are, and their bodies, like a lot of them have like abscess and pustules on them, and now you're cutting that meat up and now you're eating it. Can you just imagine like just the pure depression of being like sad? And then they're trying to say they're just animals, they don't feel, but they've taken like cows and stuff out of those, they're not even farms anymore, they're
abattoirs.
Yeah, they're factories, and they've put them in grass fields, and they've watched them run around like a dog, like excited, like, oh my god, grass, like so obviously they feel something, and I just can't put that food in my body knowing that they're like depressed like that, because there's a reason why our suicide rates are so high. There's a reason why depression and anxiety is higher than ever. Not only is it because of these fucking things that we're talking on right now, but the food that we eat is also mass produced in a very unhealthy way. So I just don't want that shit in my body. I already have enough problems. I don't need to add that to it. So
Rylee, you've clearly been doing some research, young lady. You clearly
foods, baby.
Most definitely. So okay, we fast forwarded a lot, but I like where we are currently. I like where we are.
This is how my show goes too. Sorry, this is why I call it down the rabbit hole. You never know where it's gonna go.
This is it, and I do enjoy the broadcasts. I do enjoy. I haven't watched all of them, but the few that I've watched,
thank you. I appreciate it.
They have, most definitely, they've been.
They're a little raw.
They're raw, most definitely, but it comes with the territory, doesn't it?
Yeah, I love it. I love when people can be their most organic self, and for some reason, people really feel that with me, and that's when I realized I gotta do a show, because for some reason, even in my like personal life, people have always been like, they've always felt very comfortable telling me like their deepest, darkest secrets. And I don't like, I don't even ask them, to sit in there. They're like, hey, by the way, I like bisexual gay porn. I'm like, oh, wow. Oh, okay.
Okay.
About that. I'm like, the fuck? Okay. And it's like this big stud muffin guy. And you're like, well, and like people have always, even in high school, I was like this. Like I had a high school boyfriend for like 6-7 years. I was with him forever. So I was obviously able to explore my sexuality at a younger age and more variety because I was with one guy, you know what I mean? Not saying that's the right way to do it, but sometimes you get more sexual freedom when you're experimenting with one person that you're connected with. Even with me being a whole escort, I know that still. And girls would be like, so like they would want me to teach them how to suck dick. And I'm like, what? Why do I have to like... That's like my whole life. Like people have always wanted to come to me and like their rawest, like most, like they feel like sinister like moments and they want to share them with me and like want to feel unjudged about it. And I just don't judge people with it. I'm like, yeah, sure, whatever. Here, you try to get over your brain.
You have a very open spirit and aura. What people are picking up on.
I guess.
It must be. What star sign are you?
I'm an Aries.
Are you?
Is that bad?
No. I'm just trying to correlate.
I'm an Aries, and I got really into the Chinese thing. I try to read about the Chinese calendar too.
Okay.
Which I'm also a tiger, but I didn't realize until a few years ago that there's every fourth cycle you actually have an element that's associated with it too.
Yes.
So I'm actually a fire tiger, and my Aries is a fire sign. I'm like double fire, so I'm just like wow all the time. It doesn't slow down.
It adds up, doesn't it?
It does add up, I guess. Yeah. I'm like,
how things can, it's interesting. I mean, some people think there's that star signs. I mean, I'm not one to read daily horoscopes or anything silly like that. If people want to do that, then by all means. But there's definitely some truth when we're talking about the star signs and the interactions between your own personality. You can see certain traits.
For sure. Well, and I mean, if you're going into the astrology behind it, right? There's if the water and the solar system are so correlated, like the moon and the stars can actually move the biggest mass on the planet, which is water.
Water.
It moves our tides. All weather, everything is moved by the solar system. Why would we not be affected by those same things based on seasons? Our bodies are made up of 80% of water.
Yes.
The earth is made up of 80% of water.
Yes.
For us to think that we're so above that is almost like narcissistic, right? Like, are we really that narcissistic that we believe that the solar system's not going to affect us the same way that it affects the ocean and the earth?
Well, unfortunately, as we discussed prior to the interview, people, the powers that shouldn't be, have created this system that we currently reside in with all of these limitations, and have taken us so far away from, a creator force and nature, that we as you've just described quite eloquently there, that there's no connection between us as human beings and the solar system. Really, what kind of craziness are you talking about? That's right. Thousands and millions of light years away, and all of this stupid stuff.
Yeah.
And we're divorced from reality, and unfortunately people are stuck in their box and within their box.
I like that term. I haven't heard somebody say divorce from reality. It's so, I like that only because people, when they're divorced, are in their most like angry, argumentative, defensive state. It's not just like we're not dealing with it. Like you think about divorced people, they're so like, don't talk to me about it. You know what I mean? Like, I like the fact that you said that. I'm gonna keep that.
Yes, mental note. Yes, put that down. And another phraseology which fits along so perfectly with that is, again, due to social media in general, and what we're seeing, especially within the lockdown, people are comfortably numb to what is going on. So,
absolutely.
We're seeing people murdered, and it's being recorded on a camera phone, uploaded to
and we would rather pick up our phone and record it than do something about it.
Yes, that's the saddest thing.
How numb have we become? For sure.
It's a sad indictment, and allegedly humans and mankind are supposed to be the superior mammal on this earth, but look at what we're doing. There's more harmony and righteousness taking place within nature.
Yeah. The savages, the animals, the ones that we keep in cages and try to control, they are way more, the love that they give, the balance that they give, like we could just really learn a lot more if we would just stop and open our eyes to like what is actually given to us. Like, we live on this planet and we forget that it's a gift to us. You know what I mean? And I think that we're trying so busy to control it, and we don't even realize that the control that we're trying to get is actually not even from our own souls. That control is from like this something above us, like you said, the elite or the whatever, is trying to like pass it down, and we just become this barcode. Like, somebody told us that we're supposed to do it this way, so no one questions it. And when you do get questioned about it, it's more about how many views and likes you can get because you questioned it, not because you actually felt it. Yeah. It's pretty sad. It's pretty sad.
You're laying it out very well. You really are, because that's exactly what it is. You've got these blue checkmark people.
And I'm trying to get one, but I'm not gonna lie, not for any reason other than income. Like, I gotta get more money to spread the message. But
yes, most definitely. But this, if it doesn't apply, let it fly, as they say. So
for sure. I don't get offended easily. You grow up in a house full of boys. Being offended is like, you're not gonna survive. I was the only girl growing up. So what are you being offended for? Offended is only because you give too much. People that are offended just put too much emphasis on other people's opinions. And
yes.
If you have enough self-esteem about yourself, then people's opinions or being offended won't bother you. They're like, whatever.
Well, let's look at this. If you're offended, that means it's that you cannot control Well, yeah, and also you've allowed someone else to control your emotions
Yeah,
because these are just words. Unless it's something physical, then that's obviously something else. But words are words. If someone could say
yeah,
quote unquote horrible things, but if you as a person allow that to affect you, then who's done the wrong? The person saying
yeah.
the thing, or
I
you?
know we're all guilty of it, right? We are still human. We're all imperfect, and we're all guilty of it. But like, sometimes you just gotta check yourself. Like, what am I so upset about? Like, who cares what they say? People say things out of anger. People say
Yes.
things because they're hurting. Some people say stuff just because they're ignorant. Like, they don't even know what they're saying. Like, it's like a little kid that just blabs something, you know? Like, most of us are just children running our mouths anyway. So I don't let it bother me. If I let what people say bother me, especially being the type of model that I am, I'm a very hypersexualized, very curvy. I don't fit the mold. I would not be successful. I literally have had people call me a pig. I've had people call me obese. I've had people say they didn't like
What?
my nose. I've had people say my eyes are too squinty. I've had people, I mean, literally like, oh, what's wrong with your jaw? Like, what?
What?
It's like the most obscene things. You're like, what are you talking about? Like, I don't know. Sorry, I don't do cocaine. I know I keep doing this. I really have allergies. I'm close to the
No cocaña, no cocaña. It's allergies, my.
No, I promise. My allergies are really bad out here.
It's season now. I totally understand. And based upon what you've just said, that is down to, unfortunately, we've got sad people, and they've got no life, and their enjoyment is being horrible to people online.
I don't where did it go wrong? Where did it go? I want to know these people even more. Like, I want to know, like, what point in your life did it go so wrong that bringing misery to other people makes you happy? What the fuck happened to you? You know what I mean? Like, I feel sorry for them. Like, I should be mad. Like, you ain't shit. You know what I mean? You're mean to me. But I'm like, bro, what happened to you?
No, you're right. You're right. And it could have been the simplest little thing. I mean, if we look in the world, people, whether they want to portray on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook that they're living their best life and whatever. Some people are in some bad situations, but we can.
Oh, honey.
So places.
We can go down the rabbit hole on that one right now, because I live with these people. Like, my life as an influencer is to be around influencers. It ain't all what it seems. A lot of smoke and mirrors. Like, a lot of these people don't even have 10 grand saved up. Like,
I know.
It's bad. It's like, I've watched people make $1 million and spend it all trying to impress people that they have $1 million.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense, does it?
I
Because
was like, how are you broke right now?
where did it go?
Where the fuck did it go? Trying so hard to live your best life on Instagram that you're trying to impress everybody else that you have money, that you've actually spent every dollar doing it. For what?
I know.
Sorry, I cuss a lot. I've been doing it.
Don't worry. Be you, mademoiselle. Listen, it's all about you at the moment, right?
The charismatic side of the rabbit. So.
This is it. The light side and the dark side.
Yeah, I mean, we're talking girls like. So to go deeper into like what kind of adult entertaining I did, right? Mm-hmm. Just so I can kind of dig deeper into that idea. Yeah. I started off, I'm not gonna lie, I started off as a street walking hoe. Like, I would say street walking. I used to post ads, people would book me for massages, I'd give them happy endings. It turned into the rent got a little tough, and a few people offered me enough money to go all the way, and finally I was like, fuck it, I need the money. So I went and did it, sometimes doing a transition from a corporate world and having a certain lifestyle to, okay, I'm gonna see what else I can do, and like now I'm in this whole new world that there's a pay cut, you know what I mean? I had to work myself back up. So in the beginning I did that. And
Whoa,
then
whoa,
I
whoa,
got to
whoa, 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 whoa! Don't jump over that so
Ooh,
quick.
okay,
So,
let's talk about it.
how did you? So okay. So the very first time where you said, "Okay, I'm gonna go all the way and do this act," how did you? How was you nervous? Like, what was the like? Paint that vivid picture.
No, not really. I've always been very actually I've always been very in control of my emotions. It's only been like later in my life I feel like I'm losing control of my emotions.
Hmm.
But when it comes to work, to me it's get the job done. I've always like, maybe in my personal life I'm more emotional, but when it comes to work and money, it's like, it's money, get the money. Like I've never looked at um what I do as there's something wrong with it, even when I wasn't doing it. I've always thought like, it's, as a woman you should be able to do what you want with your body.
Hmm.
I don't think that there's anything wrong with, if this is my body and I got some rent to pay, like why can't I have somebody who has another adult? I'm very big on it being adult consensual. I'm not
Yes.
into sex trafficking, not with it.
Hmm.
Underage shit, not with it. But as a grown woman in my late 20s, I went to school, I did everything that I needed to do, and I still wasn't happy. And this makes me happy and I could pay my bills. He's consenting, I'm consenting, we're both adults. What the fuck is the problem?
Hmm.
So because I've always had that idea of like, I never thought it was wrong, it didn't bother me to do it. I understood that that man in that moment needed me.
Hmm.
I'm, like I said, I'm an energy person, so I got it. It wasn't about, it wasn't even like a perversion at that moment. Like he was in, his body was in pain, so he was getting a massage. It was very euphoric for him. He was excited. And then as we're talking through the massage, he's telling me about his life. He needed something. He needed something more. And it happened to be so I've always been very in tune with that.
Hmm.
So it didn't bother me. It was like, okay, like what would be the difference of him going to a therapist and them telling him, oh, you need to go do these breathing exercises and relax,
Yes.
versus me like
It's
getting
cheaper,
his
isn't it?
stress out. To be honest, it's cheaper to pay me and
Yeah.
I'm getting it done. So I never understood this like Puritan idea of sex. Like,
What about the security element of it though? So outside of I guess when you was doing the massage stuff, was that in a licensed premises, or did you?
nah, no, I was doing it behind the scenes for sure. It was like they would book a hotel room. It was definitely
Okay.
very nitty gritty.
Yeah, yeah.
I was still trying to figure it out. Like I
Uh-huh.
was actually really excited by the whole like the seriousness of it. Like,
The danger element of it.
yeah, there's a sense of endangerment. Yeah, there's a sense of power. And I've gotten in trouble about an interview for this before. People said, oh, she's brainwashed, she thinks that she has power. And I'm like, I mean, to you maybe not, but to me it was a sense of power. There's this person who could probably go get sex for free from somebody else, but it's gonna pay me
Hmm.
because they want me so bad and I have all the control right now. Like it's a sense of like, and people are like, how is she saying this? And I'm like, it's so empowering. And any girl that I know that has done it is like, yeah, it's definitely a sense of empowerment. I was lucky enough to not go through like a bad childhood, but I have girlfriends who, beat or raped or whatever, molested. And they are like, I didn't feel like I was in control of my life again until I started doing this.
Seriously.
They're like, because now it's on my terms, it's my rules. You don't touch me unless I say so. You don't touch me unless you pay me, it's all my rules. So why would you not? I mean, I don't know. I guess I see both sides of it,
I guess based upon what you're saying, it sounds like if you're not strong enough, that a lot of these women who have done this could basically give them a power trip and turn their personality and their ego into something.
Oh, and it has. And a lot of them are now Instagram girls. Like most of the girls on Instagram used to be prostitutes. Like, let's be honest. They just don't know how to be honest about it because they think that they're above it now. There's not very many girls that I know that are Instagram models that either were prostitutes or strippers at one point.
Hey, Have you covered your mic slightly because you've gone slightly?
Oh, I'm sorry. Maybe, yeah. I'm gonna put it over here. Let me stop touching it.
Excellent. Okay. So okay.
Thank you. Yeah, and I think like, and they got really big in themselves, right? They're like, someone's paying me thousands of dollars. I'm super pretty. They went and got their bodies done. They went and got their faces done. In their mind, they're like the perfect version of themselves, and now the whole world wants them. Yeah, it can be very like, it can go both ways. It can go opposite. Like now they think they're untouchable, and they definitely.
So what about those ones who are getting those young ladies who are on Instagram, showing off their potentially their natural body, a lot of the times definitely not their natural body, and then you're getting these rich sheiks and stuff, and they're paying them like $20,000 to go and be doo-dooed on and all kind of stuff. And
oh god, yeah, that's crazy. I've never gotten to that point. I don't know how people can, but to each their own. I don't knock anybody's sexual desires but a lot of those girls are trapped into it. A lot of them don't think that that's what's happening, and they get over, like, you talk about the big like guys that fly them out to like Dubai and do all the crazy shit. I've never done it because, one, I don't trust people that much. Like, I'm not flying to another country unless I know exactly who you are. But some girls they're so big, they think that they're so untouchable. And I've had a girl come back and tell me that it was a pretty fucked up experience.
Oh no.
And it's because, like you said, they can go too far, they get greedy, and they're like, they don't realize, like, not all money is good money. And I think they get wrapped up in like the amount of money. It's very addictive. And I've talked about that on my show, how addictive the lifestyle can be. It's always more money, more money, more money, more money. And I got to a point like that too. Like I probably lost out on like a chance of a really good relationship because I was like so busy trying to make more money, and how can I get it? And you just get addicted to it, and you get addicted to the power, and like they put themselves in these very, very, very scary situations. It's kind of sad, and that's one of the reasons why I started my podcast Down the Rabbit Hole, was because I wanted women to, one, not feel like they have to hide. I think sometimes when they have to hide who they are, then they make riskier decisions.
Oh yes.
Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
So if you have this platform where you're like, oh, somebody's done that, and I can reach out and ask their opinion, and there's this network of men and women who on both sides either have spent or buy or get paid, of telling me like, hey, don't do that. Like, hold on. It's okay that you're doing this, but that's too far. And I think when people have to hide in the shadows, they go too far. And I wanted to humanize the adult industry.
Yes.
And that was like my main purpose of the show, was to let people know, like, hey, if you're into being shitted on, go for it. But understand that there is a place where you can talk to people and be like, is it normal for me to fly out here? Is this guy really going to give me $20,000? And how far are they going to take it? And when can I say no? You know what I mean?
Yes.
And some people think just because somebody paid them that they can't say no. And that's so far from the truth,
Well, that's okay. So let's look at that area then. So let's paint the hypothesis. So somebody is a fictional character. Kaylee is a Instagram girl, and Mr. So-and-so has gone in her DMs and said, okay, I really like what you're working with, basically, and I would like to fly you out and pay you, let's say, $15,000. Talk me through what the process should look like in that respect versus how I can imagine how the process is taking place with some of these young ladies.
So I'll tell you my process when I was doing it. Because it's very I mean, obviously I'm retired from that lifestyle these days, but my process when I did it was I did a verification process. Like, a lot of times these guys will hit you from these like ghost accounts, and they're like, it's just like a circle.
Yes.
There's like not any pictures. There's no history. I'm not gonna see you immediately. A red flag for me. So I used to do a verification process where I would either need to see an active social media account, or I would need something showing me that you're just a normal human being. You know what I mean? I need to see who you are. I need to know that you have something to lose.
Yes.
And it's not so I can use it against you. It's just so I'm like, usually somebody who has something to lose tends to behave themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And I need to know who that person is. So I would verify through that way. And then I would also require a deposit. So like they would have to send me money up front to let me know that they were serious. And this, I've gotten on people about this in the show, and I'm going to like backtrack a little bit. And the one thing that would piss me off is girls would do that and then they would block guys. And it's really fucked up, because for girls who really do this as their lifestyle and they're not just trying to rip people off, it scares people from wanting to send a deposit because they're afraid, oh, I'm going to send you $1,000 and you're going to block me.
Whoa. So what you're saying is you arranged to meet a young lady, and you pay a deposit, and then they block you and nothing happens.
There have been situations. I mean, there are girls. I mean, for anything, right? For anything, there's a scam artist. There's always gonna be a scammer.
Yeah, of course.
So what I tell girls or guys, when you're looking for those types of girls, you need to do your research too. Just like I'm gonna do my research on you. Don't just be like, oh, she has a fat ass, let me book her. Like, make sure that she's posting every day and they're real pictures, and that because you don't understand. I have like 10 fake pages. I have 10 people pretending to be me right now.
Wow.
So like, do your research. Like, did that account just open 3 months ago? Like, and you haven't heard of me losing my page? Are they posting live? Are they doing videos and pictures? Or do they show stuff with their friends? Like, if you're just finding these pictures that are like model photos and the account's only been open for 3 months, fishy. Probably not real. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, and guys get so caught up in like the visuals that they forget to do their research. And I don't want to say it's your fault, but
yeah,
kinda, you know what I mean? Like, did you find out? Like, maybe try getting her OnlyFans first, or her web page first, or why don't you arrange a video chat first? You know, do something so that there is some fluid. Like,
yes,
we can both see who each other is. And even if you gotta pay, to do the video chat, and first, if you're like, hey, can I send you like $50 to $100 just to do a video chat to verify who you are before you jump on a flight to come see me? Like, do that. It's worth it. You know what I mean? It's worth it. A better experience.
Yes.
Then you get a taste of them as a personality as well. But yeah, so then I would get the deposit. I booked my own flights with the deposit money. Everyone does it different. Some girls are okay with the guys booking it. I'm really big on keeping my personal information private.
Indeed.
I didn't want people like knowing my real name. And some guys will be like, well, I gotta stay private too. And I'm like, yeah, but it's more dangerous for me than it is for you. Being a woman jumping on a flight to meet some guy they never met before is a much more dangerous situation than me flying to come see you as a man. Women can be as strong as the fuck they want to be. Mm-hmm. They're never gonna overpower most men. Mm-hmm. It's a much more dangerous situation for me. So I need to know what's going on. But girls just gotta be safe, and you can't be afraid to just ask for what you need. You know what I mean? Like, and if they're not willing to do it, then that's not the right call for you. Don't do it.
So in essence, would you say, okay, it's going to be X amount for the meeting that you want? These are the kind of things.
Deposit is for flight and travel, and then when I get there, I need this much money when I got there.
And would you say, okay, these are the kind of things we're going to do, and these are the kind of things?
You have to understand, because in the U.S. it's illegal. I don't know the laws in other countries. So, no. Out here, it's very illegal. So, you can't talk about certain things on the phone, because then you have... Right.
Yes. So, but when you meet, is there kind of a like, okay, well...
I mean, yeah, if I'm in person, we can discuss things with you. But, I mean, you should be able to have your limit. And I always tell people, like, are you booking me or are you booking that? Like, if we're going to have a good time, I'm going to make sure you're good. We're going to have, like, there's certain things that I'm like, I'm not into, I'm not going to do. Like, no, you can't shit on my face. No, you can't shit on me. No, I don't want anything up my ass. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
I can't talk about those things until I meet you.
Okay.
So that's why I always tell people, like, why don't you buy see if they have an OnlyFans, see what content they're posting on their OnlyFans. You know what I mean? Like, you can do a lot more research without even talking.
Do your due diligence is what you're saying.
Yeah, and you know what? Because if you got something to lose, it's worth taking the extra time to do it.
Oh yeah.
Don't ruin your whole fucking life because you're hard today. You know what I mean?
Well, Riley, as
you're
you
hard
know,
every day. I know it's a little harder than it was yesterday.
You're talking from a woman's perspective. I'll talk from a man's perspective.
You guys will lose it all.
Exactly, from a savage man's perspective who's just in his lower chakra and all he's thinking about is base self. Then a man will do pretty much anything. Yeah,
I know. But what I'm saying to you is, men with your lower chakras, stop for 5 seconds, take a deep breath, stroke one out before you make the decision. You want to get the first one out the way anyways, right? That one's always the mood killer anyway. So if you're feeling that horny that you're gonna book somebody, just, jack off, get it out the way, so that way you're not making irrational decisions when you're booking somebody, and then fly her in after.
Words to live by.
I think it's the best,
But no, on a serious note, that's good advice, because if a man who can't control himself in that respect does do that, generally after the happy ending takes place, he's usually the euphoric kind of feeling normally starts to dissipate and die down after that. So you might be onto something.
You're a little more rational about your decision making.
Yes.
And I get, like, I have some serious fans, right? And I get it. Like, I have fans who are like, yo, I need you. And they're like, they've been jacking off to me for video. So I'm pretty sure, like, by the time they actually booked me, they were like, yo, I don't care. Here's the deposit. I've been watching you for a fucking year. Like, I need to do that. Mm-hmm. So they're like, and they're at the point, they're like, hey, even if you're just in the room with me, I'm happy just for you to be here. Yes. You know what I mean? Like, so they're willing to do it. And I'm like, don't book the ghost. For the girls, don't book the ghost accounts, because there's a fan who loves you more and is willing to do what you need to do. And for the men, go jack off to a few of his pictures, a few of her pictures first, to make sure that it's really a smart decision for you to make before you actually do it. Everyone can have fun. It can all be safe. And everyone can walk away with exactly what they want. But like you said, do your due diligence. Definitely. Get the first one out the way before you make any decision.
Definitely, I would agree with that. I would agree with that, especially if you're not a very rational male, and
men are just so focused on that penis eroding. Like, they can't help it.
Well, all right then. Here's another thing. Surely you've noticed within the last, let's say the last 10 years or so, the proliferation and the over-sexualization of women throughout every form of media we can think of. So a man who, you can watch the news, and there's a woman with the shortest little skirt on or the tightest little dress on. She's got the little fluffy pumps on. They're not making it easy at all. It's just everywhere you look, it's a sex. And unfortunately, as you highlighted earlier in one of your statements with the underage stuff and the child trafficking, that is, look, we've got adult wear, which is basically stripper wear, which is the normal wear now, but they're now making it for young children.
I mean, you also have to think about, who is the girl that everybody looks up to? Kylie Jenner. Every little girl wants to be Kylie Jenner. Kylie Jenner was 15 fucking years old when she got on Instagram, and she was sleeping with Tyga, and I don't give a shit, because I've met both of them. Tiger was 23, 24 years old, fucking a 15, 16-year-old who looked like a grown-ass woman. So, like, we have to be more responsible for those things. It is one thing for a grown woman to do that thing. It's another for us to pose it on our children.
Yes.
And there's just, and people are like, and I get it. When I was 15, 16 years old, I was pretty much in a full adult relationship. I got with my boyfriend when I was 15. We split up when I was 22. We were almost married. I was lucky enough to be with a really good guy for a very long time. You know what I mean? But I knew what I was doing, but and people say that, like, when you're 15, didn't you know what you're doing? I'm like, yeah, I did, but there was so many like bad decisions I still needed to make.
Yes.
There's so many like maturity levels to it. There's still a lot of processing. There's still so many emotions. Like when somebody tells me I have a big nose now, fuck you. When somebody told me I had a big nose then, all I wanted to do was wear my hair to cover my face. So it's like, it's just the maturity level of being able to deal with things and having healthy coping mechanisms that a 15 and 16-year-old does not have yet.
And
I don't give a shit how much hair you have on your